Okay. All right. Go ahead and get going. All right. Welcome to our Facilities Committee meeting this evening. Our agenda this evening is to review banking services RFP, talk about a SCAGO resolution for 8% funding for the coming year, and talk about a couple of approvals that are going to be sought by the board tonight, a paving project and an architect contract for Knightsville Elementary. So with that having been said, let's go ahead and get started.
Alrighty, thank you very much. So the first item on our agenda, as Mr. Lee said, was the discussion of our banking services RFP. So we had been approached by a few banking friends who asked if we would be willing to put some of our money with our banks and if we were willing for a change. And we brought a finance committee and said we should probably go out for an RFP just to sharpen, what was the little word that I said in there about, pardon me, I have a little notes right here.
So from the
Test the market for the best, test the market for the best interest rates, lowest fees, and modern treasury management features. So we sought requests for proposals and we received 7 proposals from 7 different banks. We had an evaluation committee consisted of representatives of our schools, departments, and our finance team. We had selected criteria. It was uploaded to your board packet. The evaluation criteria consisted of experience and expertise in providing comprehensive banking services to public school districts or other similarly publicly funded entities, qualifications and experience of institutional personnel, efficiency of proposed deposit services. That was something that we really wanted to try to enhance with our school district.
Sorry, what did you just say? Of what?
The efficiency of proposed deposit services. Like the number of branches that they have in the area, plus also some other ideas because traffic is getting crazy around here. And when you're trying to take the deposit to the bank every day, you can use up a little bit of time. So we're also exploring some ideas of maybe some pickups or some common deposit areas, and then someone would take those, all those deposits. Also, the financial strength of the institution, and then value of investment services. So all of those criteria were evaluated first. In our new state code, cost cannot be included as the first step of your evaluation criteria. So none of us got to look at the cost until it was scored evenly across all banking institutes who sent us a proposal. So in the timeline, we had requested some clarification questions on some of the different costs that they had discussed. We asked for best final. So all of that together and our criteria for our evaluation team has selected the best bank that we feel will provide some strategies and enhance some processes for Dorchester too. So we brought that recommendation to the superintendent and bringing it to you to bring to the board this evening for approval.
Couple questions. So in terms of the scoring, what was the delta between the lowest scoring vendor or respondent and the highest?
I honestly did not bring the score sheet.
Was there a huge disparity?
There was a huge disparity between the top one and the bottom one. That is for sure. Okay. I don't understand where the costs were coming from on one of our friends. Just did not make any sense whatsoever. The top 3 though were very close. Top 3 are very close.
And in terms of, looking at where we're currently at versus if we award this, where that's going to take us, are we looking at, substantially better services, better rates than we currently have today, lower costs than we have today?
Better costs, and our goal was to have better services. So that was part of it. That was, again, some of these efficiencies. And yes.
Else have any questions?
So we're actually saving money in addition to getting better services, is what you're saying.
Yes. And it seems like, there were some investment opportunities that we have currently that we would be able to utilize. Some of our investment sources, I guess, earlier were, going towards an earnings credit, and there was a difference between how much we needed to leave in our bank account to reduce our fees versus how much we could use to invest in the bank. And so now,
It's more flexibility.
yes, and it seems like we'll be able to get a little bit better investment piece on this, with this bank.
Will you remind us how long it's been since we've been through this process?
So we went through an RFP, it was for 5 years, and then we had a 2-year extension. We did the 2-year extension because we were in between changing superintendents. So now was the right time to bring it back
7
up.
years with the previous and now.
So what is the duration of this contract if awarded?
5 years.
Is that pretty standard with this?
It is. And it wasn't your fault, Chad, that we didn't bring it back. It was changing superintendent, so.
I presume there's mechanisms if they fail to perform or if we have issues that we can get out of the
Uh,
contract.
It's for 5 years, but I think we can give a certain amount of time, maybe 90 days that we could in sources, yes.
So like after those 90 days, if like for some odd reason, the service isn't better, the things that you switched for aren't meeting what they had promised, is there any clause in that contract that allows us to then get out of those 5 years? I mean, 5 years is substantial.
Right, well,
amount
that's
of
what I'm
time.
thinking is that you could just, it might be an annual, sorry, I don't have this exact answer for you, I will find out, but an annual, like it's up to 5 years, so each year, if we're not happy, we have to give a 90-day notice and we can
Okay,
get
so
out.
there is a mechanism
Yes,
prior to the 5 years if it isn't working out.
Yes.
That, is there a penalty?
I don't think so. Looking at my,
Okay. Okay, just making sure.
Anything else? All right, so bringing that before the board in our regular meeting.
Sounds good.
All right.
Would you like to read for us word for word the resolution?
I would love to. It's about 6 pages
Being
long.
facetious.
I am.
Would you like to?
But, if you
There
could
is a lot,
summarize.
there is a lot in this, so,
So we do have 50 minutes.
So Dorchester 2 has been involved with the SCAGO program for as long as I've been here. This is a program with the South Carolina Association of Government Organizations. And it's basically school districts in South Carolina who come together at this time of year, typically for bond payments and also for capital project bonds, which we just spoke about for all those projects. And it's a short-term bond. And so we pay this off in the spring with our debt service millage that we get from when the tax bills come in. So it's a short-term bond. We do this every year. As our assessments have grown over the years, we've been able to get additional funding. As Tony was mentioning in our last meeting, that we used to only get $4 million for projects, for these projects above the line. We still had some money down below for technology items because we made a concerted effort to go 1-to-1 with our student devices and with our staff devices to do a rotation. So we've always had technology money, but capital money has not been a whole lot. So
Fairly recent change, right? Because when it was that low as opposed to what we're talking about now.
2024.
yes, so, well, I want to say it was in 21. I could look back for sure. Because that's when we wanted to go 1-to-1 for the devices and we needed to have an increase in our millage. So we did 5 mils one year, then 5 mils in the next year.
I mean,
So we would have our rotation for our assessments to grow and for our millage has grown.
I meant for the increased money that we were getting.
It's about that time, yes, because it was when the debt service millage went up.
This would be for a short-term bond. We pay it off in the spring, and all of this is done at the authorization of our 8% authority.
Correct.
And my question is, the amount we're able to get under our 8% authority seems to have jumped dramatically relative to the timeline that Tony was talking about versus where we are now.
Yes.
And I'm just curious to understand what the driver of the change was. Was it
It
the
was the growth in the
assessment?
assessments in our county. We've had 2 reassessments during that time. And when we got the increased debt service millage to get the extra technology money, and when we were building East Edisto, we got some additional millage. And so that has played a part into why we've had additional money. So the assessments in our debt service millage right now, Ashley and I were just looking at the value of a mill right now for us for debt service is $991. A few years ago, back in 2020, 2021, it was 700,000. It was really low. So.
$191.
Between those items, between those 2 areas, we've been able to grow and see some additional funding. And so this program, again, is a combination of the public school districts. This year, there are 31 districts who are participating in the program. The total bonds are $313 million. And since we're combining one issuance, then you only have 1 fee for the bond attorneys, 1 fee for the financial advisors. And so spread that out among the 31, and it's our financial advisor did a cost comparison. If we were to go out for a bank loan for the same amount, the fees would be double from what we get to have with this program. So it's very beneficial. So these bonds, authorizing the issuance and sale not to exceed 50 million, which includes this 33 million of this list, plus the installment purchase revenue bonds and other GO bonds that we got, like I said, for East Edisto for those payments for this coming year.
So part of this, the 17 million of this is to make payments on past obligations.
Yes, yes, yes. It's the bonds that we already have outstanding. Yes. It might be a little less than that whenever they go to market.
Yeah, in the event, and I see in our list, we actually have what I've called the known unknowns, the unforeseen stuff, but we don't know what it is, but we know it's coming. So we've got something in there to deal with that sort of thing. The example in the facilities meeting about Newington and wiring and things that we didn't have on our list or have any plans for. We have some of that in here. If we complete all of these projects that we plan to against that $33 million, and Jeff does a fantastic job and gets it done cheaper. Okay, what happens to any remaining funds? Are we able to then bring other projects onto the list? And get them done?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the converse of that, in the event that he runs into difficulties and whatnot, some things cost more than we estimated and that sort of thing. Are we under any penalty or obligation for projects we aren't able to complete because the money ran out?
No, sir.
Just don't complete them.
Let's get it. Okay. Questions, comments? What am I not asking I should?
Cover some.
If there were any-
It was pretty thorough, yes.
If there were any other questions about the list, but I think we
If
talked
we were
about
to
it
like,
earlier.
for some odd reason, come substantially under or over what is budgeted here, would we then get an update to facilities or finance to say, hey, we're approaching the end of the year, we're realizing we still have X amount of money, we're moving this project to the list, just like to update the board if
Absolutely.
that list were to be changed or if for whatever reason it looks like we're gonna come below, like a lot of that stuff came in higher than we thought.
We hope nothing comes in higher, but we
Yeah.
have brought plenty of projects to y'all, saying that we had some savings in our fall of 25 SCAGO program and in our fall 25 bonds. And we were able to bring other projects. And of course, anything over 250 comes to y'all for approval at the board level. And we say we realize some savings. So here's another project that we're bringing to
Do we
y'all.
get any update in our finance report or like through committee, like maybe mid-year, like a mid-year report on where we are with these projects and?
We haven't, but let's do that for this year. How about quarterly when we bring our other
Yeah, either
reports?
quarterly or mid-year, either one.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, not to go back to facilities, but the conversation we were having is we get better at this long range capital planning and whatnot, figuring out what's the right frequency and what kind of metrics and things to bring forward so that we have the visibility that we need without getting into every single project that's on here down to the net side. But knowing where they're at and that sort of thing. You had said something. So for a lot of these that are on the bottom half of this list, the FFE stuff, equipment, and so forth. So any of these that, when we go to execute those are over $250,000, those will be coming back to.
Yes.
In policy, and I honestly, a conversation I had made me go back and look at it, and I had there was like a quarterly requirement
Right.
within policy, and I'm not sure that we have.
We did
necessarily-
that. We were doing that last year.
Yes.
Well, what we didn't do was like the year end one because we're still working on doing our year end journal entries and close out for the
Like
year.
anything over, I think it was in the policy is over 50,000, I can't remember.
Anything we contracted for over $50,000 in the
50,000.
past quarter.
And we don't have to like approve it if it's, unless, but just, that list.
For an
So-
update.
And that's quarterly, correct?
Right.
So maybe you could do that update with that.
Certainly.
That way you're not like having to keep track of different dates and different things. It can just be one and the same, like it could be, hey, where are we on this list? And then B, also provide the update of anything over 50,000, 50 to 250.
Sounds good. Yeah, we just got off a little bit just because of that June 30, but we could still bring you those lists, but without the actual final numbers, but still what we did in that quarter. That's a good idea.
That could be brought to finance as like information, maybe, or, yeah.
The audits in progress.
We're
or-
still,
or
the auditor, so we are still working on getting things ready for the auditors. Just takes a little time. You have to wait 60 days to get your final numbers from the county. You have to wait 30 days to do accruals back to the prior year. So we're still, it takes us a good month of August to get all of that ready to go for the auditors. And they'll be here at the end of September. And then we'll get our report probably delivered to y'all in November. It's due to the state by December 1st. So I'm gonna have them put that on the calendar now since we only have one November meeting, but yeah. We had a delay last year. We didn't get to bring it to y'all until January because the federal regulations hadn't come out for the single audit guide. So the state gave us an extension. We didn't have to have it until January to the state, so.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go down a rabbit hole there. Anything else on the SCAGO? Any
think so,
projects?
dude.
Any other questions or comments about that?
But thank you.
Did I understand the program? Did you understand the program? And that's an annual thing. We did it in August of last year as well.
Was there- Excuse me. Any other things you want to point out short of reading the entire resolution?
See. So we went over what we're gonna use it for, long list and for the 1, 2, 3, 4 bond payments. And we'll save some money doing it this way.
And also, to be clear, none of the projects that are on this list are any of the projects that were on the list that was submitted as part of the resolution for the.
No.
Got it.
Correct.
Anything else on resolution for 8% funding? Is that FY 27, basically what we're talking about? Our FY 27? Approval of the paving project for Winter Hill. We talked about that during facilities. Anything else to highlight in there?
No, sir. Feels like we duplicate what we're saying to y'all because we're talking about the projects and facilities and the dollars here. They kind of both go together.
Yeah,
Same thing for the Niceville
same thing.
architect contract.
Yeah, Niceville's a whole storyline that needs to be put together. I can't remember the other slide.
It is a lot. We'll bring the GMP 1 to the board middle of September. We just didn't have it ready for us.
Anything else from a financial standpoint? Any public comments? Public here? Nobody else has anything else? We can,
You really want us to have something?
Just kidding.
I'm allowing the opportunity. Say I tried to rush everyone out of here.
It's not-
All right, we will see you in the regular board meeting.
Shouldn't be.